Frank ranks week number 34. We have 9 comics to talk about, mostly independent. Got one DC book in there. Who's going to rank at number 1? Let's find out right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone, where we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanca. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, we're going to talk about 9 comics today, and mostly they're independent because I guess somebody at the shop got sick, and they weren't able to drop off my comics this week, so everything I'm going to be reading is all independent. All right, so mostly because I read them all online, so I did them all digitally for the most part, except for one. All right, so let's start with number 9, and that is Dark Honor. This is the ultimate issue where we are finishing up the storyline. I believe it's number 5, and we have the story of, I forgot her name already, the main character, who is the daughter of the head of the 100, which is like a gang, and they are being hunted down by another guy that wants to take over, and he's got her, he was dating her girlfriend, but now he's taken her hostage because he wants the final key to the vault or whatever it is that has all of their money in it, all of their possessions, or whatever is their, gold, whatever it may be. But it's their fortune of the 100. And I guess he needs like 5 keys or whatever else. But the keys don't burn. So that answers my question, because there was a big battle that went on between her father and the other guy, the villain. And I was like, why didn't he just throw it in the fire? But that's why. So he gets thrown in the fire anyway, and he pulls out of the fire, and of course this key is not hurt. So that answered my question from the last issue. But anyway, she gets a whole bunch of street gang guys together, by a motorcyclist, and she just runs right through where they're holding the hostage, and of course he wants her there so that he can get the key. And a big battle, finishes up, and, she ends up being victorious, and that's the end of the 5-issue series. The artwork is generally really good, but the storyline is just, and it takes place during COVID for absolutely no reason whatsoever, just so they can remind us about COVID, of which I do not want any reminder. So this is why it's number 9. There's just nothing there. The last issue was decent with the little battle, but that's it. There's really nothing to this. There's nothing that's really imaginative about it, and that's what's great about comics, is that you can really do whatever you want. And she decided to leave this, or the writer, I believe it's male, decided to just go very, very basic with it. So I'm very against not using imagination in comics. But anyway, it got picked up by Image. I mean, I can't get anything picked up by Image, and we have this, somebody knows somebody kind of thing that I don't know. That's the same thing with Hollywood for the most part. I don't know anybody on the influencing side. All right, so that's why it's number 9, and it's totally forgettable. All right, so number 8, and this is another, I believe, Image book, Exquisite Corpses. And I know a lot of people really, really like this thing, especially my buddy Mike Spider Slayer, but I'm not one of them. I don't really, it's like a bracket thing where it's like a whole bunch of, like, there's 13 families that are I guess they rule in the back end, in the shadows of the 13 original states / colonies. And so we have 13 killers that are set loose in this town where there is innocent people, and they're looking to kill each other, but if there's, collateral damage, who cares? They can't leave the town. Okay, so if they interact with people and they kill them off, nobody cares. And there's literally, they're watching, and the police force in there doesn't know about it or anything. So it's literally just serial killers running around a small town, looking to kill each other. but most of them are psychotic. So, like we just had a male nurse that went to the hospital and started killing off patients just for the hell of it. So it's interesting, but there's no like something like the Hunger Games. At least we knew the characters and we were rooting for certain characters. We knew that Katniss was going to come out on top, all that stuff. But there's no main character here. Every issue is about somebody else. And one of them's going to get killed. So it's like I don't really care about anybody because it sets something up and then it's gone. Like the last one was about the fox head killer or whatever. And in this issue, we don't even see them. They set up this soldier in the beginning. We never saw him again. They set up the gamer kid. He's gone. He's running around. So it's just like I'm done here. So I read it digitally, but I would never buy this. So I'm not really happy with how the story goes. But anyway, this poor guy, he's kind of a dick. He runs, I think, the real estate thing or whatever else it was a car dealership that the mother works for of the kid that's with the gamer kid right now. They're going out trick-or-treating because it's Halloween. And he goes to open the door and his hand gets cut off. I mean, as a trap, but I didn't even see how the trap got sprung. And the same thing happens here. They're like, the woman from the hospital that's in the ambulance ends up hooking up with the mother, or finds them basically, and the guy with his hand cut off. They knew each other anyway. And they're like, let us take you to the hospital. Blood, you're bleeding out, blah, blah, blah. No, we have to go find out what's going on. Hell no. If my hand got cut off, I'm going to the hospital. Even if there's a serial killer running around the house, the serial killer's dead. But, even a serial killer running around the hospital, I'll still go to the freaking hospital. See if I get that shit reattached. But he's like, no, they tie it off. And then we need weapons. So he goes to the armory of the sheriff's department, whatever else. And he goes to turn the handle and his head gets cut off. And I'm like, damn, man. Damn. I guess you need to stop touching shit. Whatever. But again, we never see how that happens. We never see how it's set up. It just done. But this one is about a male and a female that like to blow shit up. Okay, that they like fire and stuff like that. One of the females got half of her face burned off. I don't know why this guy is interested in her, but anyway, he is. But he starts to set off explosives, and she basically turns on him. She's like, I don't like to be touched, and she throws him off into this wire webbing, and he just gets cut to pieces, and she goes down there and drinks the blood that's coming off the wires. Whatever. Not great as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so number 7. And this is a licensed property, Blade Runner. So this is, I tried to buy long ago, this is by Titan Comics. Long ago, I tried to get the license for Blade Runner, and they weren't giving it up. But I guess Titan ended up getting it. And I read a little bit from the previous stuff, which was okay. And then I just gave up on it. This is called Black Lotus, and it's basically about a replicant that, it's from the movies, of course, with, the last one, they were both with Harrison Ford. The second one I just didn't care for at all. But it was good to see, Sean Young, recreated in CGI. But anyway, so this replicant escapes. She goes to Las Vegas, which has basically been turned into nothing but sand. And she's hooking up with, thieves over there or whatever. And meanwhile, she ends up going into this hotel or whatever else, one of the hotels, and there's somebody there that's dressed like an Egyptian princess or whatever. But they're hunting her down. So one of the women that's hunting her down was in a wheelchair, and he says, I'll fix your back if you and let you walk again if you join my team. So there's a team going after her, but it's so forgettable. I barely remembered it as it is. So, okay, number 6 is my only one that I actually read physically, and that is JSA Ragnarok Part 1, which is very strange because this finishes up the last storyline with the Injustice Society. And this is about the Spear of Destiny, and I don't know, the Kid Eternity, which they just kind of threw in here. We have finally got Hawkman and Hawk Girl finally rejoining everybody while there was a trap set up for them. So if Kid Eternity didn't open up this portal with Hawkman and Hawk Girl, they probably would have been killed. But now 3 more people entered the fight, and it kind of turns the tide. And Obsidian is reunited with them because the kid who's is not Dr. Midnight, the Doctor Strange version with the gold helmet. God, I can't remember. Dr. Fate. So Dr. Fate and who's now a kid, which I really don't like. He wears like gold sneakers. It's really a bad design. But anyway, he ends up with Obsidian finally getting them out because they were like in a coma, in a maze in their mind and stuff like that. So they finally get out and they're reunited with their family, and that was all good. So this kind of ends up, meanwhile it says it's part 1. So, but overall it was decent, but it kind of dragged on a little bit long. Yeah, see, this is number 11. So it went on for like almost a year. I do not like these long drawn out stories. But anyway, so it finally ended, and I was happy about that, and generally it's decent. All right, so before we get on to the last 5, which are all pretty good, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. Share this video out there so people who don't read comics can see what's going on in the comic world as well. And remember, too, that I'm a writer, so if you'd like to check out anything I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in, or you can click the link in the description below. My 4-novel quadrilogy was a sci-fi epic in the vein of Star Trek, Star Wars, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's got little pieces of everything in it. It's called Destiny Aurora. It was made into a board game, an RPG, a graphic novel, and it's also on Audible. The first novel is also on Audible, so if you like epic space, then you'll definitely like this Starship kind of stuff. Also, all my books are on Kindle, including my YA fantasy novel, Tales of Ravenor, The Iron Witch. So if you like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, all that stuff, you're going to like this. There is dragons in it, there's magic in it, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. So if you liked all that stuff, you're going to definitely like this as well. And then, of course, we have my new comic, Fairy Tales of Terror. With a Psycho Cinderella, we have a killer Captain Hook running around New York City, and they are being followed by Tiger Lily from Neverland, who's attempting to stop their nefarious plans, of which we don't know what they are right now, but they're leaving bodies all over the place, and it's bloody, and it's fun, and it's fully funded. So we are, the graphic novel is fully funded at this point, and we are unlocking stretch goals. We already unlocked a little figure for Psycho Cinderella. My sculptor is working on now a Tiger Lily. Once we reach 8,500, we are about to pass 7,200 right now. So we have a little over $1,000 to get to unlock that other figure. So jump in there right now and grab your copy. You can get it digitally. You can get me to sign it. Anything you need is on there. So definitely check that out. Go to QR code here or the link in the description below. All right, let's jump back into the ranking for number 5. And this is by Jeff Johns, and this is Redcoat. And the Redcoat is the story of Simon Pure, who is a scoundrel for the most part. He's not really to be trusted. He was given immortality and is still running around with the same clothes he had from like 30 years prior. That's the part that gets me, man. I cannot buy... I like history, and I like him trying to put history in here. Like we have... I think it's Dolly Madison. You know, not the food cakes, but I think that's the figure. But anyway, this is the War of 1812 or something to that effect, where the White House, the White House was on fire, and Dolly runs in there to grab the portrait of George Washington, and he is trying to stop her. He was just there hanging out, apparently, with some of the maids or whatever, and or the cooks or whatever, what he was doing, and he ends up stuck in this thing, and everything burning down around them, and instead of him leaving, he goes and helps her carry the painting out, and he can't believe that he's risking his life for a painting. I like all of it. I just can't buy the premise. That's my problem with it. So it's well written. The art is great. The subject matter is decent. I just can't imagine a person from the Revolutionary War of 1776. Now it's 1812. He's in the same clothes, man. I would, even if they called it Red Coat and he always wore red, I could get it, but why would he be wearing, even one guy says, I know somebody who wore that uniform 30 years ago. How is it not ripped to hell? How is, and again, he was a villain, right? He's stuck in America. Why would he continue to wear a uniform of the side that lost? I can't buy it. I just can't buy it. And it's not really made for kids, so it's not like it's directed towards kids. But I just can't buy into the clothes. That's my hang up, is the freaking clothes. Jeff, man, you gotta change his costume. Give him something else. You can still call him Red Coat. Just give him something else to wear, so I can get over this. All right, and the next one is a number one. That is another independent. I think it's also Image. It Killed Everyone But Me. And this I actually put it at number 4, but it should have been higher. But the artwork is so basic. I mean, it's like the guy didn't even try. There's like no detail, and which is almost why I dislike Sherman on Wonder Woman. It's just so basic, and just lines. So I gave this a number 4, but it's interesting. So it's about a supernatural serial killer. It's kind of switches to this woman who is a real estate agent, has a daughter, and she doesn't like her job, but I guess she's good at it because we hear all her pitches, or we read all of her pitches, I should say, because there's constant panels of what she's pitching to everybody. And these guys come to her and say, hey, I think the serial killer's back, and they kind of question her, and she says that's not possible. And literally the bloody footprints were on the ceiling and stuff like that. But she was at a party, of course, and I guess this entity killed everyone except her. And that's hence the title. But now it's years later, she has a daughter of her own, and now somebody's coming to her saying it's back. And she's like, I don't think so. And she grabs a shovel, and she digs this thing out, and she performs this ritual. I guess she kills a bird or whatever else, and this entity comes out and tries to get her, and she's wearing something around her neck that stops it from attacking her. And so she's like, oh, it's something else like me. And so she's like, I just need to know that you were still in there. And so I guess there's like a duplicate or another entity like him. So it's an interesting premise, and it's a good start. So I'm interested to see where that goes. But anyway, it's called It Killed Everyone But Me. And again, I wish the artwork was better, especially for a horror book. And a horror book should have a lot of blacks and stuff like that, and look a little bit more cinematic than what this artwork is. Okay, well, let's jump into the final 3. Woohoo! And none from by Image. Again, I wish I could get into Image, but they're both, 2 of them are by Jim Zub, and that kind of gives stuff away if you know who Jim Zub is. But the first one is called Conan and the Something Serpents. I forgot the name of it. Conan Scourge of the Serpent. And this is the almost like the continuation of from the Conan story, one of the Conan stories, and from the one where it was the Black Stone, where it was all of them combined. This one has some of the people from the Blackstone one, like Cull is in it, and like the other investigator from the 1800s is also in it. And it switches back from all these three different storylines. Conan's going into this palace to steal something, and he gets in there, and the guy that he wants to steal from is dead. And the guard is standing there with a crossbow on him, going, "Why'd you kill him?" He's like, "I didn't kill him." And he's like, "We better get out of here, or else the guard's gonna come." And he's like, "I am the guard." And then all of a sudden, all the other guards come in, and he's kind of surrounded, even though he's kind of making threats with them. But anyway, that all switches back and forth. Then we have the guy from the 1800s, where he goes to one guy's house that his fiancée has a ring that was given to her by someone as a serpent ring, and she can't get it off. That's another storyline. And the last storyline is with Cull from Atlantis. Now, Atlantis is still above the ground in this one. And so Brule has come in through the window to help Cull escape, and he has certain knowledge of the palace about where there's like secret doors that go downstairs and everything like that. They end up, fighting certain things or certain guys to get through. And finally, they end up at this older guy who pulls a dagger on him. It's the same dagger from the original Conan book that they were stealing. And ended up getting, somebody else stole it from them. But anyway, he ends up fighting this guy with a serpent dagger. And the guy, even though he's older, is unnaturally fast. But Cull ended up killing him. And after he dies, he turns into a serpent. So he's had some kind of a glamour on him or whatever else. And that's where it ends. So I think that's pretty good. And it's number one. So Jim's up, kicking some butt with Conan. Okay, number two. And that is Conan the Barbarian. So we have two Jim subs in order here, one after the other. And this is the continuation of the one with Zula, where Conan was captured with another woman, and he promised to get her out. She became a slave, and he became like a gladiator. And of course, he was killing people right and left, so he became like the top gladiator. It wasn't known by the name Conan, but anyway, he and Bast was his owner. And she's a sorceress and was able to get into his head, and so every time he went to attack her, he would just knock her out, or she would knock him out. But Zula comes in from another previous book, and he's a shapeshifter. Anyway, he comes in behind her, knocks her out, ties her to the bed. They end up having this meeting with Kathama, something like that, Kathuman or whatever. I forgot his name, but Tuthaman. But anyway, one of the big villains, the magical villain, and Zula can only hold the form of Bast for so long. They get there just in time, change back. When they get back, she is gone. So she's escaped. So now we got a problem. So he says, no, we can't escape yet. We have to go find the girl that I promised to save, who became a slave. And as soon as he gets to her, I guess that Bast had is mind controlling her and forces her to jump out the window. So she dies. And he says, screw it. And they both escape separately, Zula and Conan. And that's where it ends. I'm like, what? We set up this whole thing with Tathaman or whatever. We set up the thing with Bast. And then it's just over. And I'm like, he just left. I'm like, you can't do that, man. So we have other books that last, almost a year and go on forever. this guy doesn't even finish up his story and it's already over. I'm like, what's going on? So now I'm like, when is he going to bring these people back? All right, and we're into number one. So if you're not reading Conan, you should. It's really good, even though it just ends abruptly. It's just like, what the fuck? All right, number one, and this is not unusual for my channel, and that is David Mapose's Space Ghost. This is, I believe, number 2 in the new volume, or in season 2. So the last one, they had a very touching one about them, Jace and Jan, which are the kids. The grandfather was going to take them in, and they're like, no, you can still see us, but we're going to stay with... They don't know Space Ghost. They call him Dax. So this is them on another mission, and they end up meeting like a love interest for Dax, who's kind of like their Catwoman. And so even though they have this thing, she's a villain, and her name is Eclipse Woman. I wish they would have come up with something a little better, even Lady Eclipse, even better than that. But anyway, so she's a thief, of course, and she has stolen one of his previous armbands. So she ends up getting away, whatever else, but ends up that a monster is created, an energy monster is created, because I guess, I don't know if he was indentured to one of the mob bosses or whatever else, but he was in there, and he had her kind of tied up and was going to shoot her, but then Space Ghost came in, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we have this energy dragon / monster that's now terrorizing everything, and Space Ghost tries to stop it, but he couldn't stop it, and Jace comes up with the idea of basically letting the armband explode in its mouth or whatever else. So she has to sacrifice the armband to save everybody, and she does, and she still escapes just like Catwoman was. But the artwork is really good, the action's good, I like the little twists and turns in it. She is a really good character, like most of those Catwoman type characters are. And yeah, so I definitely recommend it. All right, well, that's it for me. We hit number 1, and of course, it's Space Ghost every damn time. So I have 2 weeks of comics coming tomorrow. So I'll have all my Marvel and DC stuff in there at that point. All right, so remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. If you can, ring that bell, ding, ding. See all the reviews. I just did a review on the directorial debut of Scarlett Johansson. If you want to check that out, I'll put the link for that above. And yeah, definitely jump into Fairy Tales of Terror right now. Again, we're fully funded. You don't have to worry about whether it's going to come or not. It's definitely going to come because we're funded. And I'm having Joe could finish the artwork right now. So we'll see how everything goes. But anyway, jump in there. Go to the QR code over here or the link in the description below. All right, have a great week, everybody. And thank you so much for watching. All right, bye-bye.